I remember the exact moment I realized something was wrong. It was a Tuesday in early spring. I had just gotten a raise, my biggest one yet. My manager shook my hand, HR sent the email. For about 15 minutes, I felt like I had finally made it. 6 figures, the number I'd been chasing since college. That night, I opened my bank app. My balance looked exactly the same. Rent had cleared, student loans were scheduled, car payment pending, insurance, subscriptions, groceries, taxes. The raise that was supposed to change my life had already been eaten by a system I barely understood. I stared at the screen and thought, how am I still broke at this income? I had done everything right. I went to school, I took on debt because everyone said it was good debt. I climbed the corporate ladder, I worked nights, I answered emails on vacation, and yet my life felt rented. If I stopped working for 1 month, everything would collapse. That was the night I realized I wasn't building wealth. I was maintaining a lifestyle that required me to keep showing up forever. I didn't quit that night. I didn't have some movie montage transformation. I still went to work the next morning, but something had broken. Over the next 10 years, I studied why people like me, educated, disciplined, high income, still felt trapped. I learned how the wealthy structure money, taxes, debt, and assets in a completely different way. I stopped chasing income and started designing a system, and eventually I escaped the salary trap. Not by getting lucky, not by hustling harder, but by understanding the rules of the game I had never been taught. Today, I'm going to show you that system, the one I wish I had known earlier. If you've ever thought, I make good money, so why do I still feel stuck? This is for you. Let's talk about what I call the salary trap. The salary trap is not about low income, it's about structure. You trade time for money. That money flows through taxes, debt, and living expenses. What's left is just enough to keep you comfortable, but not free. You're not broke, you're dependent, and dependency is the real trap. A salary feels stable, but it's actually fragile. If your income stops, everything stops. Your rent, your loans, your insurance, your lifestyle, your sense of security. That means your employer doesn't just pay you, they own your time. You can't walk away, not because you don't want to, but because the structure of your finances doesn't allow it. That's not freedom, that's a subscription. Most people think they're not getting ahead because they don't make enough. In reality, it's because of 3 structural leaks. First, taxes. Your highest effort income, your salary, is taxed first and taxed hardest. Second, debt. Student loans, mortgages, car payments, credit cards. Payments go out every month whether you feel rich or not. Third, lifestyle creep. As income rises, expenses rise with it. Better apartment, better car, better image. Your raise doesn't increase freedom, it increases maintenance. You are running faster on the same treadmill. This is where most high performers end up. You make too much to complain, but not enough to stop. You look successful on the outside, but inside you're thinking, if I quit, I'm done. That's what I call golden handcuffs. The salary is just good enough to keep you from leaving, but not good enough to set you free. Here's what took me years to understand. Employees optimize income. The wealthy optimize structure. Employees ask, how do I make more? The wealthy ask, how do I make money without trading time? Employees pay taxes first and then live on what's left. The wealthy structure income so taxes are minimized, deferred, or avoided legally. Employees use debt to survive. The wealthy use debt to buy assets. That difference, structure over income, is everything. Once I understood that, the salary trap finally made sense, and more importantly, I saw the exit. This is the framework I used. It's not theory, it's what actually changed my life. I call it restructure, reduce, redirect, replace. Step 1, restructure. Stop thinking like an employee. I stopped asking, how can I make more? And started asking, how can I reduce my dependence on salary? I changed my definition of success. Not a bigger paycheck, but more control over time. I began tracking what I call my net profit of life. How much money do I keep after all obligations? How much time do I actually control? That, not income, became my scoreboard. If a decision increased income but reduced control, I stopped calling it progress. Step 2, reduce. Lower the burn rate that owns you. You can't escape the trap if your lifestyle requires your job. So I did something uncomfortable. I reduced my burn rate. Not extreme frugality, not living like a monk, but cutting anything that permanently locked me into monthly payments. I downsized where I lived. I delayed the status purchases. I eliminated recurring expenses that didn't buy me freedom, because every fixed expense is a boss. The lower my burn rate, the less power my salary had over my choices. This didn't make me rich, but it gave me something more important: optionality. Step 3, redirect. Stop paying for stuff, start buying systems. This was the turning point. Instead of asking, what can I afford, I asked, what can produce? Every surplus dollar went into something that could produce cash flow, equity, or leverage. Not consumption, construction. Sometimes that was a small business. Sometimes that was acquiring skills that created location-independent income. Sometimes that was an asset that paid me every month. The goal wasn't instant freedom. The goal was not needing my job for survival. Step 4, replace. Build until salary is optional. The final phase wasn't dramatic. There was no moment where I said, I quit and walked into the sunset. Instead, 1 month I realized my systems had covered most of my expenses. A few months later, they covered all of them. And at that point, salary stopped being a lifeline and became just another option. That's the difference between working because you must and working because you choose to. That's the moment you escape the salary trap. Here's the truth no one tells you. Escaping the salary trap doesn't feel like becoming rich. It feels like becoming unafraid, unmoved by layoffs, unstressed by office politics, uncontrolled by someone else's calendar. Freedom isn't yachts. It's not being owned by your obligations. If you're watching this thinking, that's great, but I'm still stuck, here's where you start. First, calculate your dependence. Ask, if my income stopped today, how long would I last? Second, lower the floor before you raise the ceiling. Reduce fixed costs before chasing more income. Third, redirect $1 at a time. Your first asset doesn't have to be big, it just has to be independent of your time. Fourth, design for systems, not promotions. Promotions increase income, systems increase freedom. I'll leave you with the question that rewired how I make decisions. Does this make me more dependent or more free? If the answer is more dependent, it doesn't matter how impressive it looks, because the salary trap isn't about money, it's about who controls your life. I spent 10 years inside that trap, and I don't want you to waste 10 years learning what I learned the hard way. If this helped you see the system more clearly, subscribe. This channel isn't about getting rich quick. It's about building a life where your time finally belongs to you. You don't need another raise. You need a new structure.